episode 4 in the My Transgender Wife series. This one gets a little bit heavy. It deals with the question of do I worry about the well-known shortened life expectancy for trans women? And the short answer is yes, I do. The fact is that we don't have, and I did actually do a little bit of research on Google on this, but we don't have solid numbers about what the life expectancy is for trans women. By trans women, I mean individuals who were born male and at some point in their life transitioned to present as female, whether that involves surgery or hormones or just lifestyle changes. And that's what I'm calling trans women. There are a couple of reasons I think that it intuitively makes sense that trans women have a reduced life expectancy. And there's a couple of reasons for that. First of all, well, let me just draw from personal experience because I don't have reliable statistics. I did read a study once that said that trans women in California were at a significantly higher rate of HIV infection than the non-trans population. That would have been a death sentence at one time. Of course, HIV is now treatable. It's not yet curable, but it is treatable. So an HIV diagnosis is not necessarily a death sentence, whereas it certainly was at one time. I did a little bit of counting, and prior to this marriage, I had relationships with, by my count, 6 trans women. And by relationship, I mean more than, an encounter or a friendship. I mean that we dated, that there was not an exchange of money involved in the dating, and that the dating went on for some length of time. So 6 trans women that I dated or had a relationship with prior to my current marriage. Of those 6 trans women, 3 are now dead. 2 of them died of heart complications in their 40s, and 1 died of suicide in her early 60s. The heart complications issue, and I have no idea what their medical history was, but there is a lot of stress on the body, particularly for trans women who undergo a lot of surgery. There's a great deal of stress and a great deal of risk involved in that. Being trans often carries with it other health considerations, particularly for those with Klinefelter syndrome, of which one of the 3 now deceased trans women was a Klinefelter's person. And you can research Klinefelters if you're not unfamiliar with the term. There was a study, and my memory on this is not reliable, but I do recall reading at one point that gender dysphoria, the supposed root cause of transgenderism, to coin a phrase, gender dysphoria, that is a hatred of the birth gender, has a very high correlation with serious personality disorders. And by very high, as I recall, it was something on the order of 70%. So a person who suffers from gender dysphoria is at a very high risk of having borderline personality disorder as well, or narcissistic personality disorder, or a manic depressive or bipolar disorder. Very high risk of that. Those personality disorders have associated with them a lot of things that have a negative impact on life expectancy, like risky behavior, seeking risky behavior, whether it be sexually or otherwise, suicide, elevated risk of suicide, what is it called? Self-medicating. Either through street drugs or alcohol or even prescription drugs. Seeking to make oneself feel better by, without the care and advice of a doctor, medicating yourself. And so if you've got these kind of factors coming into play, you would expect to see a reduction in life expectancy for trans women. So do I worry about it? Yes, I do. There's a significant age difference between my wife and I, 24 years, I believe it is. And I think that a lot of the issues that lead to a reduction in life expectancy for trans women in general don't apply in her case. Her health otherwise seems to be totally good. She does not engage in risky behaviors. She does not self-medicate. I mean, she drinks. I drank, but and sometimes to excess. But it's not a behavior pattern with us or with her. So I think that a lot of the factors that, and near as I can tell, she has never been diagnosed with a personality disorder, and I see no signs of a personality disorder in her. So I think that we might be lucky, we might be able to avoid a reduction in life expectancy in her case. That said, nobody knows what the future holds. So yeah, it's something that I worry about. Whatever steps I feel that we can take to protect against that, we do take, and everything else we just can't worry about. So life goes on, as they say. Thanks for listening.